Okay, thanks to all of you again for joining us to learn about Acumatica 22R1. Today I am showing you how blanket sales orders work. Blanket sales orders is a new feature that we have had customers request frequently, and I'm really excited to show you how it works. You should see my PowerPoint, and I want to point out some of the main features here. Some of the reasons why your company might use blanket sales orders would be in response to supply chain issues, to assure customers that you can meet on-time delivery demands when larger quantities are needed over a longer period of time, or to negotiate long-term sales and purchasing contracts to keep costs down and protect margins. Your company might also use blanket sales orders for advanced shipping scheduling. You can have multiple open shipments linked to the same blanket sales order, which I will show you in a bit. And you can ship to different customer locations with different shipping terms and tax rates. You can split a single line item to schedule different quantities to ship at separate times. You can accept payments or prepayments to the parent customer account on the blanket sales order, even when there are different customer locations. And you can schedule out shipments in advance and have the system automatically create child orders whenever needed. You can also mark different lines for purchase or production and schedule separate orders to be created accordingly. And there are even more options than we have time to mention. So now we'll skip over to Acumatica and show you some of the features. First, we'll start with the status. Blanket sales orders have only open, completed, and expired statuses. So there's no longer any shipping status like in the regular sales order type. That piece gets handled at the child order level. The blanket sales order is completed when all child orders have been shipped. The date informs the starting date when order dates will be scheduled to be created. The expiration or the expires on field is optional. It's the ending date before which all orders and shipments must be scheduled. The expires on box is empty by default. The user can leave the box empty if no expiration date is known. If the blanket sales order has any allocation of items, links to purchase orders, or payment applications, they are not removed when the order is assigned to the expired status. Instead, the system displays warning messages about those lines. The user can extend the expiration date to make changes or can cancel a blanket sales order with an expired status, in which case the allocations and the links to purchase orders are removed automatically. We'll notice that the totals get summed from all lines on the header. And there's also a totals tab, which also totals and has extra information here that will be updated as transactions are processed. We notice on the payments tab that we can assign a payment or prepayment to the parent account and with the parent location, and it will be transferred to child orders. This payment has to be done before you create child orders, and notice the column transferred to child orders. Moving over to the details tab, notice the different ship to locations. We have Chicago and Las Vegas. It is now possible to ship to multiple locations on a single blanket order. We can make attachments and put in line notes that we can copy to the child orders based on how the order type gets configured in Acumatica. And then I also want to point out the quantity on orders, blanket order quantity column, unshipped quantity column, and they will get updated as child orders get created and shipments are confirmed. Next, we'll look at the child orders tab. Again, we're able to see here on this tab, shipments and invoice statuses for child orders. And I want to point out that the child orders, we have here 2 child orders that have been created for different ship to locations. And notice that I have 2 open shipments at one time. This is brand new functionality and allows your shipping department to pivot more easily to get shipments out on time. And then going back to the details tab, we'll actually look at the line details for one of the sales order lines. This brings up the line details dialog box. Again, this is new functionality where we can split the sales order line quantities by order date and ship date, and then have the system create child orders grouped by shipping info. As these scheduled order quantities are shipped, they will fall off of this box. First column I want to look at is the scheduled order date. This is the date on which a child order will be created. By default, the system inserts the current business date to this column. A user can schedule out the order dates and have the system automatically create child orders accordingly. We also have the scheduled shipment date. This is the planned date of the shipment for a child order generated from this line split. We also have the customer order number column, which is where you can put your PO. You can use multiple customer PO numbers to track shipments for larger projects and orders. And then we also have the PO creation date, which we can use to choose the date when you want purchasing to create the PO if the mark for PO function is in use. From this transaction screen itself, I can create my child orders that are ready to be created manually. But I also can go to the process order screen, which you should be familiar with, to use the new action, create child orders, to create orders in bulk. Note that I can, like any process action, add this to a schedule that could be run automatically in the background to create child orders. I'll go ahead and click Process All, and the system will create my child orders. This creates child orders for all lines with scheduled order dates earlier than or equal to today, or the business date. Lines with the same shipping information, location, ship via, and shipping zone, and shipping terms are scheduled and grouped onto the same child sales order. We also have here another action, process expired order. And this can also be automated in conjunction with the create child orders. This assigns the expired status to a blanket sales order with an expiration date which is earlier than the current business date. It can be handled automatically. Let's go back to our sales order screen and look at our child orders that were created. If you recall, we had 2 with 2 open shipments. And now we have 2 more open orders that have been created from that process screen. Once created, the system can notify a salesperson or shipping manager to work on the orders. Thank you for spending time with me to hear about blanket sales orders in Acumatica 22R1. Now you should be able to provide better on-time delivery, and you can lock in sales pricing and costs for larger orders, as well as to make use of blanket sales orders, flexible shipping options, and trackability. Be sure to connect with me or the rest of our team to make sure you're covered with blanket sales orders.